Princesses Beatrice and Eugenie unite to stage a family intervention. They have no choice. Welcome to Crown Chronicles, the home of royal revelations, untold palace secrets, and the stories the British monarchy would rather keep behind closed doors. If you love deep dives into the lives, scandals, and emotional truths of the royal family, make sure to hit that subscribe button and join our royal circle. Because today's episode is one you won't want to miss, an inside look into the emotional turmoil and quiet desperation behind palace walls, where Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie are said to have done the unthinkable, stage a family intervention for their troubled father. Prince Andrew, yes, the York sisters, two of the most private and loyal members of the royal family, have reportedly reached a breaking point. For years, they've stood by their father through humiliation, exile, and scandal. They've watched his royal titles stripped, his public duties erased, and his reputation collapse under the weight of allegations that shattered the family's image. But now, according to insiders, Beatrice and Eugenie are no longer content to watch in silence. They're stepping in, not as royals, but as daughters, to try and save what's left of their father's life and dignity. It's no secret that Prince Andrew has been living in the shadows since 2019. When his disastrous BBC Newsnight interview ended his public life in a single night. What was meant to be a chance at redemption became a royal catastrophe. His tone-deaf responses and lack of remorse left viewers stunned, and left the monarchy scrambling to control the fallout. In the years since, Andrew has been quietly living at the Royal Lodge in Windsor, far removed from the public, stripped of military honors, and all but erased from official royal life. But while the palace may have moved on, his daughters have not. Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie have reportedly been visiting him regularly, offering emotional support and trying to help him find a sense of purpose after losing everything he once stood for. According to those close to the family, their patience and compassion are being tested like never before. Beatrice and Eugenie have always been close to their father, one insider revealed. They adore him and have tried to protect him from the worst of it. But they've seen how withdrawn he's become, how he's isolating himself and refusing to accept the reality of his situation. They knew something had to be done. That something, sources say, was a quiet, carefully planned intervention, a private family meeting held away from prying eyes. The goal? To help Prince Andrew face the truth about his reputation, his future, and the growing tensions his presence still causes within the royal fold. They love him, the source added, but they've reached the point where they can't just nod and smile anymore. They had no choice but to speak up. The timing of the alleged intervention couldn't be more critical. With King Charles streamlining the monarchy and focusing on a smaller, more modern royal core, there's simply no place for Andrew in the future of the firm. Yet, behind the scenes, he has reportedly been resisting this reality, believing he can still return to public life. Beatrice and Eugenie, insiders say, were desperate to make him see that such a comeback is impossible, at least for now. They tried to explain that clinging to the past isn't helping anyone, one palace aide whispered. They want him to accept his new reality, to focus on being a father and grandfather, not a royal figure trying to stage a comeback. What makes this story even more emotional is the position the sisters find themselves in. Both women have built lives outside the monarchy, Beatrice working in finance and technology, Eugenie in the art world, yet they've never escaped the shadow of their father's scandal. Every public appearance, every interview, every charitable event they attend inevitably circles back to the same question: what about Prince Andrew? According to reports, that pressure has taken a toll on both sisters. They're proud of who they are and the work they do, said a family friend. But they're constantly reminded that their father's name still carries baggage. It's exhausting. They love him deeply, but they also want to live their own lives without being defined by his mistakes. During the intervention, sources say emotions ran high. Prince Andrew, who has always prided himself on loyalty and strength, initially resisted their words. But Beatrice and Eugenie, usually so gentle and measured, were said to have spoken from the heart, reminding their father of everything he still has to live for: his family, his grandchildren, and a chance to quietly rebuild his dignity away from the spotlight. They told him this wasn't about punishment, it was about peace. The insider continued. They want their father back, not the prince, not the public figure, but the man who raised them with love and laughter. The man who used to make them feel safe. Behind closed doors, even King Charles and Queen Camilla are said to have expressed concern about Andrew's mental state. While Charles has made it clear that his brother will not return to royal duties, sources suggest he still cares deeply for him as family. The intervention, though not officially acknowledged, may have even had the quiet blessing of the king, who wants to see his brother come to terms with his situation rather than continue living in denial. What happens next remains uncertain. Some royal watchers believe the intervention could mark a turning point, a rare act of compassion and realism from within a family often criticized for emotional coldness. Others see it as a sign of desperation, a last-ditch effort by two daughters who refuse to give up on their father even when the world already has. But one thing is clear, Beatrice and Eugenie's actions have shown extraordinary courage. They've broken royal tradition by confronting a problem head-on, not hiding behind palace walls or press statements, but addressing the pain within their own family. In doing so, they've reminded the public that beneath the titles and jewels, the royal family faces the same heartbreaks. The same internal struggles, as any other, and perhaps, in this moment, they've shown us something truly powerful, that even within Britain's most guarded institution, love can sometimes challenge pride, and win. As Prince Andrew continues his quiet life at Windsor, only time will tell whether his daughter's heartfelt plea will change anything. But for Beatrice and Eugenie, one thing is certain, they have no choice but to try. For them, this isn't about duty or reputation anymore. It's about family, forgiveness, and the hope that even the most fractured crown can still find a way to shine again. If you found this story as fascinating as we did, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to Crown Chronicles, your royal insider's view into the secrets, struggles, and triumphs behind Britain's most famous family. Because here, every crown has a story. And every story has a heartbeat.